stop moving in frank, just start moving in motion. Cause it can't be planned, it can't be your forces. Have a force that could move a whole body of oceans. So wear every single denim cotton that you're closed with. Yeah. Closed with.
I dig it.
Who's this artist?
It's Courtney Night, aka Native Named Night.
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
And she's on SoundCloud too.
Oh, so if I just wanted to check out her music, I can just go right on the SoundCloud.
You can do that.
Native Named Nightly.
Yes.
All right, that's good to know.
She's pretty awesome.
Yeah, and I heard that she's like really down to earth.
She is.
Really chill.
She is.
She writes all her own music.
Yep.
That's amazing.
And makes some of her own beats, but there's like a bunch of like young people sort of doing things that are her friends, and they all collab together. So
I'm glad that we could give her a platform.
Right.
And I think that's what this is all about, right?
Absolutely.
Right? So why are we doing this? What's up?
Well, as part of the Kindred Project, we want to create visible community for Black or with Black people in Lowell. So that's what we're doing, right?
That's what we do. Yes.
Yeah.
And so uplifting a person like Courtney is all part of what we're trying to do here.
Absolutely.
But you know, I want to do a quick shout out to you, Masada.
Oh.
Because we have a book right here. This
do.
is your book, Becoming Broken. And this is for everybody. You need to get this. It's only $15. But that's poetry, right? That's all, and that's all creative and original.
Yeah.
Your work,
Life experiences.
I love it.
Thank
I love
you.
it. And if you haven't gotten a chance, you need to check her out. If you ever get a chance to see her live read, oh my goodness. And that's how we became friends.
That
sort
is.
of.
That was the beginning. And then it was like, oh, youth work? And I was like, yes. Violence prevention? Now we're really friends.
Now we're really
Though I think I had to use those actual words and say, do you want to be my friend? Which I think is what I used with many of folk, and was like, hi, you want to be my friend?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I feel like since I've met you, that's your jam. Like that's how you build community.
Yeah.
And that's how you brought us together, a whole bunch of us. I really, moving to Lowell in 2012, I didn't know many people, and I didn't know especially many Black people.
Right.
And I really, really wanted to make friends, and like you said, I was watching you from afar. And then you approached me and asked to be my friend. I'm not gonna lie, I went home and I was like, oh my goodness, you want to be my friend?
I was like, yes, why wouldn't I? But what did we use to like bring the rest of the folks together?
I think it was this other book, right? And we have been talking about this book, Kindred, by Octavia Butler. Get this book too if you haven't. It's really good. And I don't know if I had read it or we were both talking about just reading
wanting
it.
to read it, yeah.
Yeah, and then we created like an informal book club.
We did.
And you brought us like all these women from different like places in Lowell. You brought me and Krista Brown and Keziah Bascom and Melanie, Courtney's sister. And then we all read it.
Yeah.
And then we all became
and then a
like
friendship was formed.
It's hard. It's really hard to create community.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have met many women of color.
We have to be very intentional. But it's important.
Yeah, that's why I really love how you've revamped our mission to create visibility with the Black community in Lowell.
Right.
Because where are we?
That's a question that I'm constantly asked when there's a person that I meet. They're like, "Where are all the Black people?" And I was like, "That's a good question, but we got to work on that."
I feel like it's a game I play when I go to community events or even fundraising events,
Right.
and people have started playing this game with me, which I'm sad. I'm saddened by it, but I'm also happy that people are noticing.
Right.
Yeah, we talk about diversity a lot in Lowell, and where are all the Black people?
Right.
Where are we? And I think that's a huge reason why you and I started having these conversations ourselves.
Right.
And we were just like, okay, so what do we do about this? Because we're doers.
Right.
I'd like to
exactly. Yes. Even if no one's coming, we're there. We're like, okay, well, we thought everybody wanted this, so we're gonna make it happen.
And I think that's one of the main reasons that you decided to found the Kindred Project.
Absolutely.
So being Black and being born and raised in Lowell, what was that like for you?
I mean, I felt like it was easy to be a creative, but being Black, I feel like I constantly just wanted to look for Blackness. And I felt like very starved for Blackness. And there's still a few events that happen regularly within the Black community, but they're not really like promoted. Yeah. So sometimes you don't find out until it's already passed. And I would really like to be able to be like, hey, this is like, we have like some sort of newsletter. We have like, you know, an avenue to really push things out, because I think that we need more spaces for us.
Yeah.
And I've always felt that way. And I'm like, well, I mean, they say if you build it, they will come, but I don't know.
I know those grassroots efforts are really challenging. They definitely, and it's hard to find that support when you're doing serious work.
Right.
But everybody wants to come out for a party.
Absolutely. And I think that's the struggle, right? It's like, how do we fuse the two? How do we do, you know, but I think that Kisaya did a great job of doing that at her offbeat fundraising birthday party.
Yes,
and I think that, and that was just last Thursday. And I think that she really did a great job of like, having like this party and knowing that it's a fundraiser and all folks know that they were there to support this great cause. Also, please support. We still need a tractor. Do that.
Yes, check out the composting page there on Facebook. Yes, there's fundraising efforts taking place currently.
Yes.
That I honestly attending that event in 2018 after being in Lowell for about 6 years for me. And I was meeting new people. I was meeting new Black women. And I was interacting with other Black men who I didn't really know. I mean, debating about Beyonce really is how that got started. But
that was a great avenue, though.
It really was. And I feel like I have more family now.
Yeah, no, it really was. I think that it was a great experience just being there, having these conversations. Like, I felt like everyone, I was like sitting with my cousins, honestly. I was like, am I with my cousins right now?
That's exactly how it feels. And it just makes me feel like, so, you know, I do my other show at LTC, History on Lowell.
Yes.
And having really been studying this history and looking at how cultural communities have always been the backbone of Lowell and the diverse environment here, but then looking at that urban renewal time and where these cultures were dissipated and separated and literally kind of destroyed. And it's like we lost a sense of unity, especially in the Black community.
There was one point where I felt like I hear about, you know, what it was like back in the day and how there were community centers and, you know, folks knew that they were going to see people that looked like them at the arcade or at these other, you know, different, just they had a lot of things were popping back there. But I think that when they, you know, when they had like really dismantled the Bishop Markham, you know, projects, it was like, where do you find us at now? You know?
Yeah, and it's like some of these communities have been able to kind of revamp their cultural aspect, and they've gotten support from the city.
Right.
But whenever you want to do something with Black people, I feel like it's often, well, what about the African community? And I love the African community.
Right.
And it's vast and it's vibrant here, and there's so much to learn. But I think people don't understand how different it is to be Black and how different it is to be an African immigrant or refugee.
Right. And it's not to like, you know, to be exclusive or anything, especially if folks are identifying as Black, like, absolutely. Like, if you identify as Black, like, let's be able to build community and build that unity so that make sure that, you know, we're okay. Exactly. And then how can we, like, continue to uplift and empower other folks, you know? But definitely I feel that the African community has a lot of things going for themselves, and maybe unity, you know, uniting with, you know, Black Americans in Lowell as well needs to be a thing that is happening, but there's a lot of ways to kind of divide us, and I think that we need to, you know, focus on the unity piece so that we can be like, but how do we move forward? Like, where do we go from here? There's a lot of people that look like us in the city who might not necessarily identify as Black or Black American, but either way, people are looking at you and going to think, you're black.
Exactly.
So like just
You're melanin.
Right, exactly. So I'm like, where do we go?
Yeah, and can we work together?
Right.
And that's really, look, I think that's what we really just want is feeling like we're a part of this community because we are,
right,
and feeling wanted here because we want Lowell, we love Lowell. I mean, you I think we were just talking about how you're born and raised here, and you're one of the biggest cheerleaders
right,
for Lowell and its youth, and you have been since forever.
Right.
And I think that's what everybody knows you for too. And me, I was born here, but came from Boston, and I'm like, wow, coming from Boston, where like I see people who look like me everywhere all the time, to, I am often the only black woman in all of these spaces.
Right.
And then finding you, and it was like clinging. Like,
there's one.
Yes. Oh my goodness. And then you introducing me to all of these wonderful people. And then it's like, wow, look at you building community. And you're not even, you're actively trying on the outside, but you're making all these small moves on the inside and really connecting people and bridging gaps where they need to be bridged, really. I think it's awesome what you're doing.
I appreciate it. We're doing it though.
Yeah, I guess, I signed on for all this.
That you did. I mean, I think that you've been amazing for anything that I'm like, what do you think about this? Yeah, we can do that. I'm gonna, you know what? I'm gonna talk to anybody, and like, I think that we can make that happen. Like, all right then.
I think that's what's
and
about,
then we make
right?
moves. Yeah.
Utilizing our resources, seeing what we have. Like, I remember talking about asset-based resourcing. Like, a lot of times we look at deficits, what are we lacking?
Right.
But I think you and I, we really look at, all right, who do we know? What can we use? What is free?
That is true.
Who's going to let us use their space? And then...
And we've been pretty fortunate, yeah.
We really have. I know, we did that collaboration we've gotten to use the space at the library, the senior center, the collaboration with the national parks, and people... We just need more people.
Right.
That's all.
That is. Yeah. That's a major key.
Yeah. Major key.
Yeah. But yes.
Yeah.
And I think that that's like a question that we need to pose to the communities. Like, what is something that you want to see? And I think we've tried to have like community meetings where we can kind of get that input because we feel that this is necessary. But I don't always know if the community feels like we need this sort of thing. And that's like a constant question. It's just like, you know what I mean? What do you want? Because like we are, like you said, we're doers. And I think that we feel like we want to do something for our community because we've felt like in being here that we've always wanted something else and that we want to see more people that look like us in all the spaces that we go to. But do folks want to go? Do folks want something else, you know?
Yeah, and I think that's a question that we will be posing soon, and more questions.
Yes, that is true. But if you do have a question, you can always reach out to us on Facebook. We are the Kindred Project, and we also have an email. Any way that you want to reach us, we are there, and we will respond.
We really will.
Yes.
We're out here, and if you see us in the street, please say hello. We will say hello back.
Yes.
And I think I think that's why people are starting to come out of the woodworks now. They're seeing us in spaces, and we're just like, "Hey, family, how are you?"
Yeah.
And it's just, oh, Lowell does have black people.
Right.
Literally last night, I was at an event, the Foundation Mixer.
I was gonna say, where are you at? Where was you at?
It's a really great networking event that it comes about every once in a while. I think there's going to be another one in May.
Okay.
And I think Bobby Tubielli is really great.
I was just about to ask, who runs the Foundation Mixer?
Yeah, he's really awesome. That's his whole jam, is bringing people together, networking, and also building those bridges in a different kind of way. And I met a woman there yesterday, and we were talking, and she was like, I drive around, and I'm like, why don't I see anybody who looks like me walking around? And I'm like, that's so hilarious that it's not funny.
Yeah.
But it's so interesting.
A common theme.
Yes, that's what we're all thinking. And so it's like, well, thank you to Bobby for bringing people like us together,
Right.
and bringing us even more allies and things like that, and support and resources and ways to elevate in a professional manner, definitely. But that's another way that I think we've been like low key building community. He and his wife are definitely out here trying to do something for everybody.
And who's his wife?
Alexandra Tuvielli. Hey, girl. She's another, and that's what I'm saying. Like that's another woman I would see at like a Lowell Women's Week event or something. I'm like, who is that beautiful black woman? I feel like I need to know her.
Want to be my friend?
And that's just how it's been happening, right? Oh wow! I'll never forget like going to that first time that we all met up when you brought us all together and we went to Uncharted.
Oh yeah.
And we were sitting around, we were talking, and we were just talking about our ideas and our goals, and it just felt so good.
It did.
It just felt like home.
Yeah, it did. And I think we left and we were like, chanted Kindred.
Yep, it really did.
But it did. It was a great time, and I think that we've tried to be more intentional about creating moments like that. We also went to was it Altair?
Altair, yeah.
And that was also wonderful when we took our picture with reading our books. This is one of my like favorite pictures.
It really is. I love it.
And folks, you can be a part of moments like that as well. Just tap in. Like we always want more folks. We want to do more events, or just share space, which I think is also important.
Yeah, because that's really when you feel like you're sharing space, you feel like you're connecting with people on a real level, on an authentic level, and you can just be yourself, kind of. Whereas I feel like you and I, we're unapologetically ourselves everywhere we come.
Unfortunately.
Unfortunately for others, maybe.
Right,
but,
yeah.
You know, that's just who we are.
True.
But I feel like it's important to have that space where we can feel comfortable and safe.
Doing that, right.
Yeah, and I think it just hanging out with each other, and even if it's just, we're really just vibing, we're listening to music, we're eating and just laughing. And I think that's creating that space, and it's also promoting it for the young people in the city. Yeah. It's like, I had a young person say to me yesterday, Maritza, if you weren't doing this work, I would not care about Lowell. I would not want to be here, and I wouldn't feel like I have somebody to look up to.
How awesome is that?
And I was like, wow, well, now that I just feel like I need to work harder.
Thank you.
Like, I'm doing this for you, so that just makes me feel like, okay, I'm doing something good here. And I'll tell you.
And you are.
We are, because my girls still talk about you when you came to Girls Day.
Oh man, that was one of my favorite workshops.
They love you.
They were so awesome. They were just unafraid to do absolutely anything I asked. Like, do this, okay? Yes, Masada, I can do that. They're an awesome group. I mean, even now when I can see them anywhere, and they're like, Masada, like anywhere. I'm like, oh, hi. I remember meeting you.
Yes.
Yeah, they were awesome.
And I think that's part of why we do what we do, because representation is so important.
It really is.
Like, growing up here, did you have teachers who looked like you?
Never. I've actually never had a black teacher.
Wow.
Yeah, even in college, all of my education.
You know, I feel like we talk about this sometimes, and every time you say that, it gives me chills, because that doesn't make any sense to me. Like, not even a little bit. What about leadership positions? Anything like bosses or...
Yes, I actually have had 2 black women bosses, actually, at Lowell Community Health Center, where Ruth Agumbo runs Teen Block. Sorry, why did that take so long? And then I had Sonia Patton at Lowell Community Charter Public School.
Yes.
So those were 2 fortunate experiences, definitely.
That was only like the last few years.
Right, exactly. That was like definitely within like the past 3 years. And like always, I had another woman of color, Linda Sue, who's just awesome. She is Cambodian and a magnificent. Like I can't rave about her enough. But like in terms of like having that blackness, that's it.
Yeah.
And definitely, again, I think that it's also being like intentional about, you know what I mean, about like, being like, yes, this is what I'd like to do, you know?
How do you think that impacted you as a child growing up here?
That's a good question.
I know I asked that.
I mean, like I said, I think that it's kind of like helped me to know what I want, like as an adult, because as a young person, like I did really feel starved. Like there were definitely moments and things that I would attend with my family, but it was again like an intentional thing where we knew what we were doing, like we were going to this family thing, but there was no large like community sort of thing. We did have like the Black American outing and things like that. But these aren't things that happen always annually. We have like the Black flag raising and things like that. But again, one of the big things is like, they're not always promoted. So sometimes it's kind of like, wait, is this happening this year? Why didn't I know?
Yeah.
Because like I would love to always support these things, but sometimes I just don't know.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, to my own fault, maybe they do happen like regularly, same time every year, but I mean, there's life. You know what I mean? Like, you need to be reminded, you know?
Exactly. Which is why we want to know what events are happening in the city that are for everybody, but also very specifically geared towards people who look like us. And we want to promote that. So if you know somebody who's having an event, let us know.
Let us know.
Because we want to tell everybody. And we want to keep spreading that word and creating that visibility. Because we just want to be safe too. We want to feel like we can be ourselves. And it's not like you said, it's not exclusive. We want to be inclusive. But everybody has their community.
They do.
Like you go, and like I said, going back even to the history of Lowell, you go down Market Street and you can see vestiges of like the Greek culture here. It's very, very prominent. You go to places, you can see the Irish American culture flourishing, French Canadian culture flourishing. Cambodian culture, which I think is amazing that they like could find Lowell.
And they've done a lot for themselves since being, you know, absolutely.
Yes. I think that's incredible.
And I want that.
I want that. It's like I look and I'm like, I'm going to support that. But I also want that for us.
Even like I always say like, if you're new to Lowell and you're Black, where do you go? Like, how do you even begin to build that community? Mill City Barbecue in Brew is one place that's absolutely wonderful, and I think that they try to do events and to bring in community as well, and we will have her on the show.
Yes,
Renee Walterding.
And it's such a welcoming place. You go and you feel like you know these people already. It's like, my family works at this. This is like coming to my Nana's kitchen.
Absolutely.
I love it. I love it. But if you don't know about it.
Right, exactly. Again, you have to take to Google and do a bit of a search, but there's no like one spot. As soon as you come in, you're kind of like, oh, okay, like that's where it's at. Like I get that.
I feel like I was really fortunate with Girls Inc. Putting me out there in the spotlight and in these random forums, because then that's literally how I found you at a tabling event. Like, who is that? I need to know her. And then the Violence Prevention Coalition, but that was I reached out to you for that, and I said, can I please be a part of this? But if I wasn't intentional about it, how would I?
We'd just still be maybe passing by each other.
Two ships.
Just saying hello.
Waving.
Right, exactly.
But I think that's also one of the good things about Lowell is that you'll walk by and you'll see people and we all are starving for this like community.
Right.
So we literally will be like, hey.
Right.
I don't know you, but hello.
That's what I was like. I'd never spoken to Krista Brown before, and I would just see her on the street and I'd be like.
And she's such a nice person that she would literally be like.
Right, exactly. Like it was, yes, absolutely. So it was, and it's like sometimes you do see folks, they don't always wave back or always smile, but I would like to always still build that community where it's like, hey, like I see you, hope you see me, and we can respond to each other.
Yeah, and so I think doing the show it's just gonna open that avenue, and maybe it'll make people feel more comfortable
Right.
seeing us and saying hello, because that's how Kindred starts.
Right.
And if people don't know what Kindred is, what is that? What's Kindred?
The book.
No, and
Oh.
like the word.
I was like, wait, what? You said the book.
No, like
Sorry.
what it is.
I think it's like kinship and like building, family. What is kindred to you?
I was gonna say the same thing. It's family. Like I know they kind of started as a sisterhood, but like we've met people like we said, Will or Derek, or even Jonathan, who's now leaving Lowell.
I know.
But these are men who are like, let me support these women of color and Black men in our community who want to support us, which is so important and crucial to building that unity. And I think that's what Kindred is for me, is like the coming together of people who are alike.
Right. When we can't forget Vladimir Saldana, who's been like amazing. He's literally at everything. But also if he can't make it, he'll make it known that like, I'm supporting this though.
Exactly. And he'll send his people out.
Right. He really will. He has a posse.
Yes.
Yeah.
He has been one of our main supporters from the beginning.
Right.
And he's also one of those people that you could walk up, you might meet him for the first time, he'll give you the biggest hug
He
ever.
really will. Yeah, he's amazing that
just
way.
Make you feel, and that's Kindred right there.
Absolutely.
That is.
Yep.
And I want to just really quick before we end this segment, I want to thank you for being that Kindred for me and giving me the hope and motivation to be out there saying hello to people and building these relationships, because
thank you.
You
Even
and
though
I
I think you're doing this. It was. I'm not gonna lie to you. That first time when you asked me to be friends, that's really what motivated me to keep doing this kind of work, and that's how it starts. Right? Yeah, it's true.
Being intentional about our relationships and building and cultivating with each other, and I'm so excited that we get to do this together.
I am too. Making moves. And also, if you want to make moves with us, if you want to say something that you think we could do better or something that didn't, maybe even sit well, like let us know. We're always willing to grow.
Yeah.
We want you to feel like you can talk to us about anything.
Yes, and that's what Kindred is.
Yeah.
Come and talk to us. Shout us out on Facebook, right on our wall. Let us know if you want to see something on this show. Let us know if you want to see something in the community. We'll be there. We'll try to make it happen. Or if you want us to just show up somewhere, we will show up.
That is true.
Especially if there's food.
You're not wrong.
I definitely think that's my favorite thing.
Will there be food?
Do I need to pay for this? All right, I guess.
We could share details.
Yes. That I think we're just grateful that you're watching right now. Please spread the word. Let everybody you know the Kindred Project is out here.
Yeah.
Kindred Conversations. And thank you.
Thank you.
This is Masada Jones.
And this is Maritza Grooms.
And we are
The Kindred Project. And this is Kindred Conversations, Living Black and Lowell.
Cotton that you're close with. Yeah. Close with.
Mind, body, and soul. Was a plan when you have no goal. Was a dream when your gray matter really takes toll. Like a feet when your shoes when you have no soles. Rocks to gold, riches no soul. Yeah, told myself that I get better.